All right, it is 5:30. We will get this regular city council meeting of the City of International Falls to order. If you could all join me in pledging allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, everybody. We have two meetings within one, possibly two meetings back to back, but I would assume that we would be taking a break of our regular city council meeting to have the business at hand with our truth and taxation meeting, which is a public hearing at 6 o'clock. In the event that we do finish the council meeting before that, which I would assume we won't, there will just be a break until 6 o'clock. Please note that Councilor Wagner is absent today. He is on a business trip in Atlanta, Georgia. He had said he's going to see if he can't get online tonight. In the event that he does get online, he will be permitted to be a part of any discussions, but he will not be able to vote. At this time, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councilor Kaler. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilor Buller. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Go to the minutes of November 20th. That was our last regular city council meeting. Chair would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Councilor Buller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Holden. Any discussions? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Next, we go to a resolution approving the transfers, payments of claims, and accounts payable from the International Falls City transfers going to the general fund is going to be $536.31, and that's coming out of the 612 lodging tax fund. Our City of International Falls regular claims are $234,797.76. Airport commission claims is $41,907.99, and airport major capital projects is $63,989.70. For a total accounts payable of $340,695.45. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution for the payments of claims.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councilor Kaler. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilor Buller. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Next, audience. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to bring anything up that is not on the agenda? There will also be an opportunity later in the meeting. We'll go down to the consent agenda. We have a handful of license renewals. I'm just going to quickly go through those. We have Cater for You LLC, a restaurant license, Forest Land Sales and Service, a restaurant license, Jack Pine Family Diner LLC, that is a mobile restaurant license, Jeff Briggs Construction, snowplow license, Kennedy Cab and Transport, a taxi license, KNV Restaurants, doing business as Subway, restaurant license, Menards, a fireworks license, Thomas Colomb, a snowplow license, and Workman Detailing is a snowplow license. Chair would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilor Buller. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a, second by Councilor Holden. Consent agenda has no discussion. I will call the question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Next, we go under new business, airport commission letter. There's been discussion through the Committee of the Whole and through the City Council on looking at working with the county to have a different way in which we fund the airport. We have been, we look at the way that the airport is funded as disproportionate to the residents of International Falls. 50% of the airport currently is funded by the residents of International Falls. The other 50% is funded by the Koochiching County taxes. Where we see a discrepancy is the residents of International Falls also live inside the county, so when their county taxes are being paid and their city taxes are being paid, we feel that they're getting a disproportionate amount of the taxes. The argument also can be made that International Falls reaps the most benefits of the airport. Of the entire county area, I would also agree with that statement that International Falls does reap the most benefits of that. Coincidentally, International Falls is also in the county. So by International Falls businesses and residents being able to utilize that, that is also being reflected in their county taxes as well. So in the event that the International Falls businesses benefit by having the airport in International Falls, their tax base is also on their county taxes. So they're also getting the 1% sales tax. The county is receiving their half penny sales tax on those. And we just believe that the residents of International Falls are disproportionately being taxed for the airport. I want to be very clear, not one member of this city council feels that the airport is not important. We think it is an amazing economic resource that we have in northern Minnesota that all of us are able to utilize and be able to use when we go on vacations, when we get to go on work trips. Any of those opportunities we feel is an advantage to our area, and we also understand very greatly that the opportunities that we have on getting additional funding through the state and federal government at the reduced rate that we do is beneficial to our area. However, one of the things that Councillor Kaler said, and I think that it stands out pretty strongly, is if we can leverage $40,000 for $1 million, that's a really, really good opportunity for us. But if we don't have the $40,000, it makes it really difficult to get the $1 million. And that's where we're at right now. We've been struggling in our budget, and I know a lot of you folks that are here tonight are here because of the Truth in Taxation meeting, and we agree that the taxes are difficult, and we just want to make sure that we are standing for the representatives or the residents of International Falls. We don't want to necessarily get out of the airport. We just want to see a different funding mechanism as it moves forward. Before we have any other discussion, I would love to open the floor to the council to have any thoughts that they have. If I misspoke on their behalf, it was not my intention. Councillor Holden.
Okay, Mayor. Listening to you talking about this, I agree with a lot of it, and I'm hoping that that's what your letter is going to read, is that we're going to try to work something out with the county. It's really in my interest. I know how valuable that airport is for the whole community, and so a lot of the stuff what you stated would be good on that letter. So not seeing a letter in our agenda,
Correct.
I didn't see a letter. So that for me then to vote on that without seeing it is hard because there's no visual letter to look at. I'm just saying it.
And let me address that really quick.
Okay.
Tonight is to draft a letter. This is such an important thing. I've already went and spoke with the Committee of the Whole with the county, so they are anticipating a letter to come. This is not just being on our agenda and they know nothing about it. I have had the conversation that this is coming. It would be my intention tonight to get the council to approve us writing a letter to the county. We will have a week to be able to draft a letter. We have a committee of the whole meeting next week. The council would be able to see that letter before it is sent out.
Okay,
So I just wanted to thank you for that concern, because that is a valid concern.
all right.
Any other concerns?
Do you have any? Well, I agree with, well, yeah, you quoted me, so I agree with what you say, and I truly believe that it is an issue, because I don't think it's fair in any ways, and I will debate the economic development is maybe not what we're told it is for town, because I've never been shown anything, but I do believe that the airport is important. I like the airport. I have no problem with the airport. I have a problem with us and our citizens being unfairly paying for 2/3 of it. It's basically what it is. That's my problem. And I'm with Mike. Yeah, I'd like to see the letter, but I'd also like the letter to emphasize that we cannot be part of the airport commission as it is now, the way it's funded. And if that can't change it, we plan on getting out of it in the 2 years.
Okay. And so at this time, the chair would just entertain a motion to draft a letter, and like I had pointed out, it would be my intention to make sure that the council sees the letter before it's sent out. We do have a committee of the whole next meeting, so everyone would be able to read that, and at the committee of the whole, we would be able to agree that that's what we wanted to send out to the county. So chair would entertain a motion to have administration draft a letter.
I'll move.
Okay, we have a motion by Councillor Kaler. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councillor Buller. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 And I'll vote yes, motion carries 4-0. Next, we have a letter of resignation from a full-time patrol officer. Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 2.
I'm sorry, backtrack one.
Makes me feel good, though, because usually that's like me getting ahead and behind and not following.
Any discussion on that report, resolution, with the public here, or do we wait till, I don't know your procedures go. I
We,
might have some comments on this if it's possible, and I'll wait to the end of the council meeting.
it would be under public comment. Public comment?
Yeah.
Yep. So next we have a resolution supporting the purchase of the International Bridge. Again, this is a resolution that is being joint written by, and we were asked to write this with Fort Francis. The intent on this is Fort Francis is looking at purchasing, having the Canadian government purchase the International Bridge. Both entities that own the bridge right now are Canadian businesses or Canadian companies. So what this is this is a joint resolution along with Fort Francis asking for the Canadian federal government to purchase the bridge and allow the bridge to be utilized for crossings at no expense. So the follow-up to this is I ended up having a phone call today by Senator Klobuchar's office. There is a lot of conversation right now at the federal level about our bridge. And I was asked what our intentions would be, or what the intentions of the city council is looking for ultimately through this process. And if you go to the therefore be it resolved, it is the thoughts that we would like to see, along with Fort Francis, that the government of Canada purchase the International Bridge. They would maintain and operate the bridge with minimum or no tolls. And what we're looking at is to construct a new international bridge between International Falls and Fort Francis with support of the United States federal government and Canada that would operate toll-free. So that is the ask. I've been asked to forward this on to Senator Smith's office, Senator Klobuchar's office, and Representative Stauber's office if this passes tonight. Again, this is basically a letter of support to Fort Francis to push the Canadian federal government to move forward. I have heard that Senator Klobuchar will be meeting with representatives of the Canadian federal government later this week, so they'd like to see this sooner than later. So that's what we have before us. I would answer any questions, but again, this is pretty much verbatim from what was requested from Fort Francis.
I think it's great. Can we talk about it?
Absolutely, please do.
I think it's great because when you have a private firm owning the bridge, they can jack up the cost of going across the bridge, and it's been rumored that that could go as high as triple going across the bridge. So if this is a way of getting government to own it and not having a toll for people, that's fantastic. And so I back it 100% if it'll make it easy for the people to get across without having to dig into their billfold, and especially if they triple the cost. So that's how I feel about it.
Any other thoughts? Chair would entertain a motion to adopt a resolution of support.
I'll make that.
We have a motion by Councillor Holden. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councillor Kaler. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 And I will vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Next, we have a letter of resignation from Officer Brian Franco. So the chair would entertain a motion to accept the letter of resignation and to open that vacancy.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councillor Buller. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councillor Kaler. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 And I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Well, look what we have here. We have a filled position. Chair would, next we have a, to fill the vacant full-time patrol officer position. We have a recommendation from Chief Koscheck for Officer Taylor, Jay Taylor. Chair would entertain a motion to approve that recommendation.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Councillor Kaler.
I'll second.
We have a second by Councillor Buller. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
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 And I'll vote yes, motion carries 4-0. Next, we have a renewal of business associate agreement with administrative services agreement with Compensation Consultants LTD regarding the administration of flexible benefit account program. City Administrator, could you give us a little bit of background on this?
Sure, Mayor, thank you. This is a company that we have been contracting with for a number of years for health reimbursement accounts for our police and fire personnel. The contracted amounts for health insurance were less than what the city was giving, allowing for insurance to be paid for, so therefore they were getting the difference of that, and it was being put into this account. And when it was set up, it was agreed upon that the individuals that are in the program would pay for the program. So this is completely paid for by the employees that are participants of the employees. This is also a place where retirees can place sick leave and vacation upon retirement for health premiums and things like that that are allowed under HRAs. And so this is just a renewal of the contract with them. And like I said, there's no cost to the city for this. It is, the fees are an expense of the participants in this program.
Okay. Thank you. With that additional information, Chair would entertain a motion to renew that business associate agreement.
I'll move.
We have a motion by Counselor Buller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Holden. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question,
Aye.
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 and I will vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Next, we go to the request for the 2024 license renewals that include tobacco or alcohol. I'll just run through these relatively quickly. We have Bootleggers Fuel and Liquor. They're looking for a cigarette license, fuel pump license, and restaurant license. Bootleggers Liquor, an off-sale liquor license. Forest Land Sales and Service, a cigarette license and a gasoline pump license. Quarters Fuel and Car Wash, a cigarette license and a gasoline pump license. And On the Rocks LLC, on-sale liquor license, Sunday liquor license, restaurant license, jukebox license, pool table license, and an off-sale liquor license. Chair would entertain a motion to approve those licenses.
I'll make that motion.
Excuse me, we have a motion by Counselor Holden. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Counselor Kaler. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question,
Aye.
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 and I will vote yes. Motion carries 4-0. Any other business to come before the council? Hearing none, we'll go to reports of boards, committees, department heads. We'll start with the city administrator.
I have nothing additional, Mayor, thank you.
All right, well, city attorney is been dropped off. Department heads, any department heads have anything to bring forward today? All right, we'll go to reports of the mayor, council, committees, boards, and commissions. Anybody have anything today?
I'd just like to remind everybody about the fundraiser for the Veteran Service Transportation Van. It is Saturday at afternoon, 1-ish for the Army-Navy football game. They're going to have raffles and drawings. You can buy T-shirts to support your team. I believe there's also going to be a viewing out at the Rainier Liquor Store. And the proceeds from this will go to, like I said, support the van program, which is all totally done by donations on there, nothing else.
Okay. Anybody else? I just have two things really quick. On last Thursday, we had a town hall on the garbage info and ambulance. I thought it went really, really well. It was a great conversation. I think that I've only heard good comments about the meeting, so I think that that's one of the things that we should do more of. I thought it went incredibly well. To be able to get an opportunity to sit down and talk with folks in the community, I think is beneficial. With that being said, one of the things that we had talked about a long time ago, and legitimately a long time ago, is about having a city council lunch one of these days. And one of the things that I think would be great is just having an open discussion at a luncheon with the city council. And I would propose to the council members, maybe just before Christmas on December 20th, having a posted lunch. It would be technically a city meeting with no agenda, and just sit down, and anyone that wants to come and speak with the city council while we're having some food would be very welcome to be able to have some conversation. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I would be for that.
Okay. So if, I will work with the city administrator and see if I can't find a venue. I would assume that would be maybe Sammy's in their back room or something like that, but just be able to have a sit-down lunch. We would post it as a meeting and have anyone that wants to come in and sit down and have a conversation with the city council to be able to do so before Christmas.
Yeah, I would like that.
Said the 20th.
Yep, 20th at noon. And then, like I said, we'll find a spot and I'll get more information. And obviously, we will post it and make sure that the community knows about that. The last thing that I have is there is 2 meetings regarding emergency services coming up. One of them is this Friday in St. Paul. There is a committee that our region is being represented by Representative Liz Lagarde and Senator Housechild. But it's the exact conversation that we had at the town hall meeting, and that is in St. Paul. We've been asked if we would be willing to provide testimony, but coincidentally, that entire committee is coming up to Giants Ridge on the 13th of December. So as of right now, I believe myself and Chief Manassa are going to go and represent our ambulance district, or our ambulance service area at that meeting. And the purpose of that is to see if there can't be some legislation to help fix the ambulance issues that are across the state. So just wanted to let you guys know that that's coming up.
I would think that's a good idea to go for the attendance and ATEPs, because obviously this problem's gaining momentum across the state. As you know, from the article I sent you all, when it's on the front page of the Minneapolis Star Tribune, that it's getting focused, and was a story for the people that don't know about the Nashwauk ambulance service, saying, literally stated in there, giving back their license if they can't find something. And people keep talking about private ambulances to run it. Why don't we have somebody, which I know we've tried to contract, but Essentia Health told them basically not a chance that they're would take over their ambulance service because the business model doesn't work.
It's funny that you say that, and I've had this conversation with the city administrator this morning. I was drafting a letter to Senator Klobuchar, Senator Smith, and Representative Stauber's office today, specifically about the ambulance. And you had sent that. I ended up getting a email from Senator Smith's office regarding ambulance. And then Senator Klobuchar's office had called about the ambulance and the bridge. So there is major conversations that are happening right now regarding all of the stuff that's happening in International Falls because of the need for our residents. So it's just funny, the timing, and that's one of the things that they had pointed out. Did you see the article on the front page of the paper? And I said, yeah, I did, actually. So, no, we have a lot of good momentum going on the ambulance at this time. If we have no other reports, we'll go to audience. I believe you had something that you wanted to add, Mayor Wagner, and if you do, please come forward so you can be heard from everybody.
Well, I'm actually here as a taxpayer for the county and the city. I pay taxes in both, and I understand your resolution was made to send that letter. And, I've been around for quite a few years and many different council meetings with the occupation I'm in, so I've seen this. And sending that letter is sending a shot across the bow, I can tell you that. And so I have a real fear here of cooperation between the county and the city, and I certainly hope you guys get this worked out, because what that does is when there's these rifts going on, it's going to jeopardize not just this funding, but funding for other things. I just talking to Jason there, you're looking at doing water and sewer with a county state aid road on 17th Street. Again, county city action. don't think all that stuff don't get jeopardized when stuff like this happens. So you got to get this stuff worked out as a taxpayer. You're going to start jeopardizing the funding that pays these grants. And we've been a recipient of multiple grants. And again, I totally sympathize with your problems here, but there's arguments on both sides of the funding, and I don't all agree with Mr. Kaler's idea that he's paying 2/3 of the bill and all that other stuff, because there's strong arguments against that. But I'm just here, and I'm not going to divulge on any of that stuff. I'll be glad to share them with you, but tread lightly on this. Get it worked out, because if not, it's going to cost all of us some. And as a taxpayer and a citizen of this area, I'm deeply concerned about that. As same with the ambulance district. Your two biggest problems here seem to be budget issues, both caused by the ambulance and by the airport. They're budget issues. They're really not ambulance issues. We got ambulance service, but it's how do you pay for them? We got airport, but how are you going to pay for it? So they're budget issues. And so I think you guys got to really look at this and see what your budgets and what you can afford to pay and what you can't afford to pay. And that, I see Mr. Roach in the audience, and I urge him and the rest of the council members of the county board to really consider this. This is a real critical deal. I've seen it happen, and I'm sure your city engineer can testify that if there's any kind of these arguments, and Walt, you've been around enough, you've seen that, it's hard to get money when there's an argument going on. You guys settle your differences, and we'll send you the money. So be careful.
Understood. Thank you so much. All right, any other audience? All right, we will, our next city council meeting is going to be December 18th, 2023. Immediately following this meeting, we're having our land use and legislation meeting.
Oh, truth and taxation.
Or, I'm sorry, I've already had a land use and legislation meeting before this one. All right, after this, we have our truth and taxation meeting. All right, this meeting is adjourned.